Alrighty. Good morning. This is indeed a special morning. I have a special guest who is quick on the camera and have great skills on the technical side. She is Dr. Karen Carpenter from Jamaica. She's live on Skype this morning, all the way from Jamaica. What honor is this to the Diana Wright Show. We welcome you, Doc, and thank you so much for joining us. And before we go to Doc, I just want to remind you who she really is. She is the intimacy guru. So I want to get some tips, and I hope you want to get some too. Welcome to the Diana Wright Show, and we thank you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States. My special guest, special guest, all the way from JA, Dr. Karen Carpenter, the expert in intimacy. And I know for sure that from me to you to everyone around the world, we need some love. We need to be taught a little bit about intimacy, and she's going to try to do that for us. She can't stay with us for the full hour because she is a busy lady, but I just want to start off by introducing her to you and saying welcome to the program. Doc, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. And as I like to say, I'm excellent but improving.
Oh, you are improving. Okay. All right. So we are all hopeful then. All right. So I don't know if you can see. You can see. I'm wearing my T-shirt that says "I love me" because I believe that before we are intimate, before we get love from someone else, before we do all of that, we have to love who we are. So tell us a little bit about Dr. Karen Carpenter. If I'm coming to you for intimacy training, who are you? Tell me about you.
Well, I'm a Florida board certified clinical sexologist.
Wow.
And I'm a psychologist.
Sexologist?
That's right. So my area of study is human sexuality. But in addition to being a researcher into sex, I am a sex therapist.
Okay.
Not all sex therapists are researchers, and not all researchers are sex therapists.
Okay.
So I'm a clinical sexologist. I diagnose and treat sexual dysfunction.
Okay. So if I come to you, Doc, and I'm saying to you now, okay, I think my marriage is in trouble. I am not feeling this intimacy thing that you talk about. What is the first thing you're going to say to me?
Well, excellent. That's a good question, Dana. And what I'd ask you is, what's happening in your marriage? I want you first to describe me and to say to people, describe that animal.
Oh!
What does that animal look like?
That animal?
You brought some kind of rare species into the room, and you're telling me that something's happening that's just going wrong, etc., etc. I need for you to define what's going wrong. And then I'm going to help you to diagnose the type of love relationship you are having. There are at least 7 different types of love relationships that therapists work with. And these are not the love relationships of agape and philia, etc.
Right.
These are relationships that have to do with intimacy. So there is consummate love.
Consummate love.
Consummate love. And I am always delighted when I find a consummate couple, because that means they have passion, they have intimacy, and they have commitment.
Do you have many of those couples?
They're not as easy to find, especially in the long term, because we lose bits of that relationship as we go along.
Okay.
What we tend to find is that most marriages and long-term relationships end up in what we call companionate love. So they're companionate couples, they're friends.
Ah.
So the passion dies.
Go ahead. Okay, why did you get frozen on me, Doc? I don't know what you did there, but since you are technically savvy, I'm going to just bring myself back in until I get you sorted out there. Okay, Doc. Oops, I think we lost her. I'm sure she's going to call us back because that was just awesome. Or I can try to call her back myself because that conversation is too hot to miss. Okay, Doc, are you... I'm going to try to reconnect with Dr. Karen Carpenter because intimacy is really crucial for us to talk about, especially on this show, the Diana Wright Show. So we're hoping we can get her back. All right, and if I'm not able to get her back, whoa, I'm gonna cry. Seriously. So, because she was about to just break down the whole intimacy game for us as we try to call her back. All right, let's turn that down until we get her back, and hopefully she'll call us back at some point. Yes, Dr. Karen Carpenter, and she is the intimacy guru. You heard her. She told us that she was, really a clinical person, and she's a sexologist, and she's board certified in the U.S., so she's got some training under her belt. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see if she's going to reconnect. You know how phones are. That's just the nature of telephones. In the meantime, as we wait for Dr. Carpenter to call us back from Jamaica, we are so honored to have her join us. We just want to take a minute and see what's happening in the Republican Party. Can you imagine that Governor Christie is being attacked, and more attack? Yeah? From the right, from the left, oh my goodness, the three that we thought were actually going to run for president, as in Rand Paul, he is craving mad about Governor Christie's victory. And Mr. Ted Cruz, oh my God, they're so not gracious. And then, of course, Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Wow, what is going on with these guys? They are so filled with hate and not loving who they are that they have to attack the victory of Governor Christie. Now, why do you think they're doing that? I told you yesterday, I told you that he will not be able to enjoy this victory very soon. I didn't know that it would be that soon. I thought at least they would be gracious enough to, congratulate him and all that good stuff. But they're not. Whoa, they are hitting him left, right, and center about Sandy, about this, about that, and they are not holding any punches. They're just going at it. It is actually embarrassing. And Senator Rand Paul, because of his, refusal to accept the fact that he's a plagiarist, he has plagiarized a lot of things in his speeches, he's decided to get mad yesterday and said, well, I will give this up and go back to practicing medicine. The same medicine they're wondering, is he really an ophthalmologist, as he said he is? So they're actually wondering about that. So he is mad. He just threw his hands up yesterday and said he's tired of this plagiarism thing. So if this is going to hurt him, then, he's tired of people hating on him, and he's just... Senator Rand Paul, how many people have you been hating on? You've been so disrespectful to President Obama. You have shown hate for everything. You've blocked everything. You're against everything. Are you for anything but yourself and your own power and glory and, grandioso? How about that? Not quite feeling and wondering why that is happening. Also, you see that Twitter is putting out their IPO today. Are they going to go down like Facebook, or are they going to rise like the others and fall anyway? Like Groupon that rose, and LinkedIn, and they just kind of Facebook is trying to come back. So why and how? Are you going to be one of those sucked into the Twitter world that is only catering to celebrities, in my mind? Because try to get on there and get anyone to follow you and see what happens. I know about that Twitter thing. Not so sure about the Twitter thing, but anyway, I'd like for you to follow me on Twitter. How about that? And keep liking me on Facebook, because I love Facebook. I really do. It makes you communicate. Sometimes there's some crazy people on there, though, trying to look for love, or trying to get you to take them to the bank and get their money out, and like, why am I so fortunate? I don't need that. No. So the crazies, they can stay away. But for the people who are truly trying to do some good and get a conversation going online, we appreciate them for doing so. So we thank you for liking us on Facebook, as we are going to now take a break and come back to you in just a moment. Seems like we had a phone problem. That's what happens when you try to do some international link-ups. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying. I know Dr. Carpenter's time is tight, but if we can't get her back today, we certainly will get her back another day. All right, so don't lose faith. Just keep on holding on. All right. This is the Diana Wright Show. Thank you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States. We welcome you to the program. And it is Thursday. My goodness, I always feel like Thursday is Friday. It really isn't. But anyway, we ask you to love who you are. I love me. See, I'm wearing my t-shirt today, and I think I'm going to wear it tomorrow again. How about you? Are you going to get one? It's a holiday season. You need to get on the shopping spree. Yeah. We'll take a break and come back in just a moment. Hello everyone, this is a season of giving, and I'm asking you to consider one of your gifts to be Deadly Negligence, written by yours truly, Diana Wright. A story that will give you hope, make you mad, shock you sometimes, but is bound to increase your faith and make you believe in miracles again. So please, give Deadly Negligence as a gift, as the gifting season begins to heat up. I am depending on you to do this for me. Thank you so much, and be the proud person to give a gift of the book Deadly Negligence. It's available on Amazon.com and on my website dianawrighttv.webs.com. Thank you so much for my viewers around the world and in the United States. Be blessed. Hello everyone. I am just asking you from around the world and in the United States to partner with the Diana Wright Show. Sponsor the Diana Wright Show or advertise on the Diana Wright Show. To do so, please call 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Please sponsor, partner with us, and advertise with us to make the show a big hit, just like you do by liking us on Facebook and following me on Twitter. Thank you so much. Don't forget the number to call, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Also, we invite you to invite me to be at your event as a speaker and to tell you about my new book, Deadly Negligence. And so we encourage you to partner with us right here on the Diana Wright Show. Advertise with us and sponsor the Diana Wright Show. 561-228-1921. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how rich you are, how poor you are. But there has to be a point in your life, and you will come to that point, where you have to take someone you love to the hospital. But have you ever considered that you could take that loved one, in my case, my only child, to the hospital in a normal state, and then you leave 5 months later, brain damaged, in a wheelchair, without your senses? This is my true story, Deadly Negligence, the book, available on Amazon and at my website, dianawrighttv.webs.com. I'm asking you today to get a copy. Support my story. Let us get this out there, because this story will captivate you. It will shock you. It will give you hope. It will increase your faith and make you believe in miracles again. Thank you for picking up your copy today. And just in case you know Oprah Winfrey or Tyler Perry or Mr. Levinson, let them know this is worth a movie. Thank you. Get your copy today. Okay, we are back, and this is the Diana White Show. We welcome you again from around the world and in the United States. Our special guest was Dr. Karen Carpenter. She's a sexologist and she specializes in intimacy, but we're having difficulty getting her back, so I'm sure she will join us another time on the program, or of course she will get back to us before she has to go to her next appointment. Anyway, I just want to remind you that come this Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. we will be at Chef Buddy's Place, Auntie Merle's Kitchen it's called, on the corner of Southern Boulevard and 441 in the Burlington Coat Factory. Oh, and here she is. Okay. Hey, Doc.
Hey, we just had to do some magic in here.
Okay, some magic. That's all right. We like magic.
Yeah.
we like magic, so I'm going to just bring you in.
We lost internet connection, so we were able to do it through another one of our cell phones.
Okay, great. Wonderful. We're so happy to have you back. And you were actually, when you were talking, you actually got to the second one, which is when we become friends in the relationship. That's not a good thing.
Okay.
And I believe that most of us are at that place.
Well, you know, tragically, most long-term relationships end up there because actually when they begin the relationship, they often have less of the passion and intimacy than they do of the commitment to be in a relationship.
Right.
And while commitment is very important, it's not going to give you what we call a romantic sexual relationship. If there is no sex, it's not a romantic relationship. It may be one of 6 other types of relationships, but it cannot be, or one of 5 actually, other types of relationships, because 2 of the relationships require sex. So for instance, the booty call.
Okay, what's the booty call?
Booty call, where Victoria's Secret meets Hanes Underwear. So we don't go out, but we stay in. And if you call me up and say I'm coming by, then I'm going to be ready with my Victoria's Secrets in 5 minutes.
Oh.
I'm going to be all dolled up and ready to go.
Okay.
So that's a relationship based entirely on a commitment to passion.
Okay.
So you have commitment and passion and no intimacy. I don't allow you to see my flaws. I don't share my triumphs. I don't share my little things with you, my fears, my childhood, etc., etc. And so we don't have any intimacy. We have kind of like a straight line that goes from commitment to passion to commitment.
Okay.
And that dies eventually because we actually need intimacy in order to develop a romantic relationship. We have to be vulnerable to each other and we have to be strong for each other. So the other relationship is called a romantic relationship, and that's where an affair takes place. Yeah, that's a spicy one. That's passion and intimacy.
And cheating.
Well, cheating can take place anywhere, really. Because cheating only takes place when you have an agreement.
Okay.
You can't cheat unless you have an agreement, and many of us don't negotiate our sex lives. Most of us get into relationships and don't actually say what it is that we expect explicitly. And we actually
ouch. This
believe in marriage that we have these vows that are going to protect us. And the marriage vows do not contain anything about sexual fidelity.
Okay. So
that's not what they're there for.
All right.
They're a legal contract bringing 2 people and their possessions together. It does not bring 2 genitals together.
All right. We are definitely...
The marriage contract does not actually... There are 14 different types of marriage.
Okay, I want to ask you something about the marriage contract too, because if you are married and does it mean that you always have to have sex in order to be intimate, or you can have intimacy without being in the sexual act?
Okay, so sex is not intimacy, certainly not in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is an expression of intimacy. It
Mm-hmm.
can be a bridge to intimacy. It can support intimacy. But sex is sex. And sex is perfectly good on its own. It doesn't need anything to make it any better. It's fantastic. It's great. It's fantastic.
You don't need intimacy to have good sex?
No, it does not.
Oh my God!
It is for sex.
I am just learning. Oh my God, Doc. You just said you don't need intimacy to have sex. Ah.
Some people have sex without intimacy.
Well, I guess that's true, yeah. Oh boy, we are definitely having
So they're
some...
not necessarily in those instances looking for a long-term commitment,
Mhm.
a level of involvement. They're looking for a physical and sensory experience, which gives them pleasure.
Right.
So they're not seeking other things. So
Mhm.
yes, sex is not love, love is not sex. Our brand is called love and sex. And we separate them for a reason. They're not the same.
Okay.
So, if you're not having sex in a relationship, it is not a romantic relationship.
Mm.
It can be anything else but a romantic relationship, and it usually is a friendship
Mhm.
where you have sex at some point, but you are not sufficiently sexually attracted to each other, or not sufficiently sexually compatible with each other in order to keep that fire going. And interestingly enough, one of the things that helps us to keep the fire going.
Okay, I have to tell you this.
Intellectually.
I have to tell you this. Our sound quality
We can share
is...
our minds, we can share our bodies.
Okay, I think your internet connection is going out again because we're not hearing you clearly. So
Okay, I think it's going in and out, Dana, because I hear you at times, and then sounds like we're going through a tunnel.
right, yes, and so that's
Yeah.
what it is. So I
So I'm
think
going to bring the phone closer because we're using the phone to connect with you today, and I hope that improves the connection for the time that we have left.
oh, yes, okay, because I wanted to ask you this though. Is it possible to have intimacy in a relationship after someone in the relationship cheated? Can you actually get that intimacy back? I don't think Doc is hearing me. All right.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, you did hear me.
The thing is Italian. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can even be, are you hearing me? Yeah. You can even be in a fantastically intimate relationship with your partner and seek out a second fantastically intimate relationship.
Oh.
We are not mono-directed when it comes to intimate relationships. We are not naturally monogamous. Human beings are not naturally monogamous. Nothing in our biology encrypts us to be monogamous. In the West, which is the minority of the world's people, we have made certain decisions about what constitutes our societal structures. But within that, even in the United States, there are over 500,000 registered polyamorous units.
Okay, we're not hearing you at all right about now.
And polyamorous practicing.
Okay, I tell you what, Doc.
We're still connected.
Yeah.
We're still connected on my end. Are you
Yes,
hearing anything?
yes, I'm hearing pieces of what you're saying, so we're challenged, but I tell you what we're going to do though. We have to come back and do this because this is so important for a lot of people to learn about intimacy because it's important, it's crucial to relationships. And as you did say, you know, and I know you have to run now because the time is running out,
Right.
that, you know, intimacy is the embodiment of relationships. Am I correct in saying that? It's a crucial part of it?
Intimacy is crucial to romantic relationships and friendships.
Ah, friendships. There we go. That's the one I want to get to.
Those two relationships.
Yes.
It is not required for the booty call.
Okay. So friendships and
romantic
relationships require intimacy.
Relationships require intimacy.
And I'm going to pick it up there when we come back because I know you got to go. But please let me know when you're available again. And I have to go call the head of Digicel and say, make this thing work.
Well, actually, if you could call Flo. Digicel is who got us back on.
Oh, Flo. Okay, I call Flo because I actually have a connection. My girlfriend knows the guy who does marketing for Flo. I think he's, yes. So I have some connections. I'm going to just text her when I get off of here and just let her know. So Flo actually saved you and Digicel failed you?
Flo failed us and Digicel saved us through a cell phone. We connected through a cell phone.
Oh, so Flo, oh my goodness. I have to go beat up Flo and Digicel both.
All right, then.
Okay. Yes, and I would definitely want to explore the fact that you need intimacy for friendships and romantic relationships. Absolutely. Oh my God. Thank you so much, and you have a blessed day. And it was my pleasure. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I love you. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, that was Dr. Carpenter. Oh, we are so sorry that signal messed up. So I'm going to have to check into my hookups in Jamaica. You know, I have a very good hookup in Jamaica. And I'm going to just tell her to get, well, she was actually disappointed by Flo and Digicel Saver, so I want to know how that works, okay? So we thank her so much because that was just going to be a wonderful conversation. We're sorry, I apologize for the technical part of it, but you know how that is. It's an international call. Flo is the Comcast of the U.S. in Jamaica, and Digicel is, I guess, the AT&T of Jamaica. All right, so we are gonna hopefully the next time Doc is on, we just get into it because this is a really good conversation to have inside of the Diana Wright Show. We're gonna take another break and come back to you in just a moment, and we thank you so much for joining us today. You know me, I love romance and friendships. Friendships need to be intimate. My gosh, okay, who knew? I didn't know that. I want to hear more about that one because I really didn't think of it that way. We'll be back in just a moment. April 30th, 2014 is International I Love Me Day. I want you to start thinking about what will you do special for you on that day. Share it with me on Facebook and Twitter. And join the conversation on the Diana Wright Show, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. We are live. The number to call, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Join the conversation. Like us on Facebook. And follow me on Twitter. Okay, we are back. Yes, I'm back with you. And we thank you so much for joining us today. I'm back. Oh, yeah, there we go. We're back, Flo and Digicel and my thing here. What's going on today? Anyway, we'll sail through it and give you a good show anyway. So you just learned some crucial things. I think we already knew that sex does not require intimacy. I was hoping it does, because I could never understand how people could just have sex with anybody just to be, having sex. So now the expert, Dr. Karen Carpenter, has informed us, because she is trained in this thing. She's a sexologist. She's board certified in the U.S. Yeah. And she is an expert on intimacy. And she did let us know that if you have a relationship, a marriage with infidelity, you can actually find your intimacy back. Which I'm sure a lot of people who have husbands who cheated or wives who cheated on them, you kind of struggle to find and get that groove back like Stella got her groove back. But there's hope, says Dr. Karen Carpenter of Jamaica. Has her practice in Jamaica, and we were lucky to find her on Facebook actually, and I invited her to the show, and she was so gracious as to accept the invitation. And my golly, we see that she has a lot to teach us. So we did learn something big. It is that intimacy is required in friendships and in romantic relationships. Wow. Friendships? I wonder what that friendship means. Does it mean friendship between a man and a woman, or how does that work, Doc? We can't wait to have you back. So hope that we can get the flow and the Digicel going and come back, because we actually she lost her connection. So that's the reason she actually, could not continue. So we hope that you will join us when she comes back and you will learn something, because I do believe that all of our relationships struggle, whether it's with infidelity, whether it's with companionship process, because that's one of the things she talks about, that you are in a relationship, you're in a marriage, and you then may really become a companion, a friend, and that's not what you're looking for in a marriage, because she says that if you don't have sex going on in the marriage, you got problems. So how many sexless marriages are there, and how many people who are married are still lonely? We hear that all the time in the U.S. People talk about that. Lots of women say they're married, but they are lonely, and they suffer from loneliness in their marriage. There was also an article, because this is one of the things I was going to bring to her attention if we had an opportunity to continue the conversation, and I will do it, even though I'm going to share it with you now. There's an article in AARP that says men who don't cheat. And some of the men that don't cheat are people like T.D. Jakes, Spike Lee, and those are some of the guys that they have on the photo. So I'll kind of show you the photo. I'm not sure you're going to be able to get it, but that's a photo. Yeah? And I was struck by the story because it talked about, different reasons why men don't cheat. And it basically says that many men are incredibly lazy. That's the reason they don't cheat. Can you believe that? Men are lazy? Is your husband lazy? That's the reason he doesn't cheat? Oh, I don't know about that one. But anyway, they explain. And some men are startlingly ugly. Yeah, they actually said it, that some men are ugly. So there's no reason for them to cheat, because they're happy for the person they actually got and are surprised that they actually got somebody. So why are they going to cheat? Oh my goodness. And then there's another one that says lots of married men are cheap. So that's the reason they don't cheat. Okay, did you know that married men are cheap? And that's the reason they don't cheat, because they don't want to spend that extra money on a girlfriend. Okay, more men fear getting caught. Now, I think that's a big one, but some of the men, they will only stop if they get caught, because if they didn't get caught, they would have continued the cheating. But this says that the fear of men getting caught is one of the reasons that they don't cheat. So why is it that so many other people cheat? Oh, I can't wait to get Dr. Karen Carpenter back. Miss Sexologist Intimacy Guru from Jamaica. All right, affairs are time consuming. I can see that one, because I truly wonder how men actually cheat and go home to their wives. When do they spend time with the person they're cheating with? When do they actually spend time? Do they cheat while they're working, if the person is in the workplace? Do they cheat if they are in their own business so they can take off and act as if they went to a business meeting and no, they didn't? They went to someone else's bed? What do we know? What do you want to know about that? I want to know about that, because I think that's important. And that's actually crucial to the conversation of intimacy. So you see, I was well prepared for Doc. Oh my God, those connections. Okay, so affairs are time consuming, yes. And then, bores can't get dates. They're saying that men are boring. Men, are you boring? Are you boring, guys? I'd like to know. Are you boring? Because if you're boring, no one is going to want you because you're boring. You're boring, you're ugly, and you're cheap. Now, my golly, if you have all those qualities, I don't think you should cheat. Okay, men have seen Fatal Attraction. Oh my gosh. That's one movie that I actually watched twice, and I never ever watch a movie twice because I really don't think I should. Fatal Attraction, remember Michael Douglas? And when actually they're calling it Michael Douglas Meets the One Night Stand from Hell. So you have a one night stand with someone and you just can't get rid of them. Isn't that incredible? I think so. So we're going to save this article for Doc when she comes back, because I know she's going to come back. As I remind you that this Saturday, Anne-Marie and myself, Diana Wright, truly will join Chef Bunny at Auntie Merle's Kitchen to ask you to come in and taste the food. He will give you tasters, and then you decide if you want to buy the food. And while you're there, we're going to just show you the Diana Wright book, Deadly Negligence. That gives you the full story about my daughter's near-death experience because of someone else's negligence. And Anne-Marie is going to teach you about skincare and all those good things and, sell you some products maybe. So join us on Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. at Auntie Merle's Kitchen with Chef Bunny, and it's easily you can find it. Southern Boulevard and 441, there is a shopping center, I should say, and it's called the Burlington Coat Factory Plaza. So you're going to join us there, and you're going to just come and taste all the good Jamaican food that he cooks. I think I'm going to give him a visit today to make sure he's cooking up some good food and not, leading my people astray. But I promise you, the food that I've had there so far is pretty good. All right? And, when people are cooking in bulk, sometimes they have a good day, sometimes they don't have such a good day, but he seemed to be quite consistent so far because I've tried him quite a few times. So we're inviting you to join us on Saturday, 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. He'll be there all day and all night, but we won't be. We'll just be there for a few hours, okay? So you can join Anne-Marie and myself with Chef Bunny at Auntie Merle's Kitchen on Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. Don't forget, it's easy to find. It's about if you like Burlington Coat Factory, it's right in that same plaza at the corner of 441 and Southern Boulevard. Also, want to talk to you about some other things here. And one of the things, Sunday, November 17th, you can join Dee and Miguel as they bring you My Redeemer Lives, a gospel concert that will take place at the Palm Beach Lakes High School Auditorium, and it's on Shiloh Drive in West Palm Beach. And you can give Dee a call at 561-351-3443. That's 561-351-3443, or call Miguel at 561-889-9584. That's 561-889-9584. And also, to remind you, if you're in Broward and you'd like to have an evening of elegance, a college scholarship fundraising dinner, you can do so on Sunday at 4 p.m. at the Sheraton Suites Hotel in Plantation. That's right at the corner of Broward and University Drive. So there'll be lots of things going on there, including the Virtues to perform. Mrs. Lillian Lincoln Lambert will give the keynote address, and the function will be emceed by the Reverend Dr. Jerry Gallimore. So we trust it will be an elegant affair, as it's said to be. So do join them and have yourself a wonderful time, and of course help the scholarship fund, which is the reason for the whole thing. Alrighty, so let's get back to some of our news right here in the U.S. as we tackle. I just saw someone, it's not the first time I've seen it, but it's online now, trending. Someone is putting their credit cards in a frozen ice thing and putting it in the freezer because they don't want to be tempted to spend it. Someone actually told me that she does this. This is a friend of mine. Well, is she still a friend? I'm not so sure. But anyway, she told me that she puts her credit cards in a freezer in a bowl, let it freeze, and it stays there. When she really wants to make a purchase that she knows she can actually afford, but she wants to charge it because she gets her points and all those kind of other things that credit cards gives you these days, she defrosts it, take it out, use it, and put it back. Now, I actually saw that online just now because I was wondering, is she crazy or what? But anyway, so, I just locked mine away. So what do you do with your credit cards when you don't want to use them? It's easy for me. I just think it's better to buy with cash, because when you pay cash, you know that you have that cash and you can actually afford to buy the item that you're buying, as opposed to putting it on a credit card and then you think you have the money, but then when you check it out, something else happens and you have to spend that money. So for me, cash is king, okay? So, I just hope that everybody could get to that place where you only spend what you have to spend and not charge things up that you can't really afford. How about that? Anyway, also, the car of the year has been named by Motor Trend, and guess what it is? It's an American car, and it's called Cadillac CTS. The Cadillac CTS is the Motor Trend Car of the Year 2013. Imagine that. The U.S. has now gotten the Car of the Year. And who makes Cadillac again? Imagine that. So when you're going to batter and bruise Obama, President Obama, for trying to save the motor car industry in this country, you need to give him a little accolade for that. Yeah, the car of the year is a Cadillac CTS, named by Motor Trend. It is the car of 2013. Haven't tested one. I've never actually test drive a Cadillac, but I've driven in them and they drive really smooth, really beautiful, but I gather they guzzle some gas. So because of that, I have kind of stayed away from the Cadillac brand, because I hear they are gas guzzlers. I actually have a friend, Sandra, who had a pink Cadillac that she earned from Mary Kay, and my golly, that thing drives so smooth, you feel like you're driving on air or something. So Cadillac CTS is the car of 2013, courtesy of Motor Trend. Yeah. And of course, Twitter. Are you buying Twitter stock today or are you not? And the FDA wants to ban trans fat. Can't wait to discuss that with Dax next Wednesday inside of Wellness Wednesday right here on the Diana White Show, because I'm kind of wondering, what is trans fat really? It's that bad fat that everybody's scared of. And what is cholesterol? Everybody's scared of that too. Are we just in an industry where they come up with things to scare you every now and every now and then we see something like diabetes exploding? And I'm wondering, all of a sudden, everybody's diabetic. Yeah, what's that? How did that happen? Is it the food that we're eating or the foods that we're not eating? Should we be eating just raw food, as some people would have us think? Or should we be eating some foods cooked, some foods steamed, a variety of things, just in moderation and in small amounts? It's a confusion in the whole eating industry. So the FDA is now considering banning trans fat. And if trans fat is bad, then it should be in our foods. And can we trust everyone that's writing on their bag or their bottles now, natural products? What is natural products? And it's in a bottle. How can it be still natural and it's in a bottle or a bag? I'm not quite getting that. Because I think when it's natural, you need to be, well, like when you buy spinach in a bag, that's natural, it's fresh. But I'm talking about things that are canned and sealed in a jar. And how does that become natural? Not quite sure about that. So we have lots to talk to docs about. And the whole thing about marijuana being a medicinal guru, savior for all sickness and disease, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, because if marijuana makes you high, if marijuana can get you to go to jail, I'm not quite sure if you just give them just a little bit, as they are doing in lots of states, and a lot of people who are Rastafarians will actually want you to think that it heals your mind and your back pain and all the other pain and aches that you have. And if you are the mayor of Canada, mayor of Toronto in Canada, and you are taking crack, smoking crack, and you're saying you did it when you're in a drunken stupor, I'm not quite sure. Now the people, I don't know how many people, but I've seen a few people being interviewed. They would like the mayor to quit, the mayor of Toronto, because Toronto is a big, popular place. And they don't want their mayor to be a crack-smoking, drunken, stupor kind of person. Yeah, that was a whole lot of words for one guy who lied straight in the camera, looked in the camera, in the eye of the camera, and said, I do not smoke crack. But then months later, when he's pressured by the media and the police says, we have the video of you doing it, he comes out and he goes, okay, you didn't ask the right question. You asked me this and I said this and I said that. Politicians, why are they allowed to look us in the eye and just lie? Why? And then they get away with it. And why is it that politicians can't genuinely be happy for each other? Now we know that Governor Chris Christie might not get through the primary process of the Republican Party because they're thinking he's not crazy enough. Because even though he's pro-life, he's pro-rich people, he is for small government, he's against abortion, he's against raising the minimum wage, he's against gay people, but yet he got the votes of 32% of Democrats to win big. So what if Miss Bono had gotten that 32% of Democrats? Well, he would have won with a smaller margin, and then he could not convince the crazies who are his fellow Republicans that he need to be a moderate. But he doesn't want to be called a moderate. He wants to be called conservative. But they don't think he's conservative enough. Oh my God. I think the Republican Party truly confuses me. And the Democrats, they're now getting all nervous because of the 2014 election, and they're saying that the people in Virginia didn't really like Obamacare, so they're nervous. And poor President Obama is out there campaigning to save his baby, which is the Affordable Care Act. He was in Texas yesterday. Yeah. While his Democratic colleagues are getting nervous. But did you see in Virginia how 91% of black women got up off their butts and went to vote for McAuliffe to show Cuccinelli, yes, we are here. And yes, we are black Republicans, but we intend to vote. And the fact we intend to vote, we intend to show you that we do have some power. And the Hispanics voted for McAuliffe also. But them white women, like 58% of those white women in Virginia who actually voted for Cuccinelli, are they not hearing the words of Cuccinelli? He would ban contraceptives. He would ban abortion. He is for some things that just seem over the edge. Like personhood. Oh, and if you want to have an abortion, you can't have it there. And he hates Obamacare. What does that tell you? He does not want you as a poor person or a middle-class family to get health insurance. And for those of you who are complaining that your rates are going to go up because you're actually having to buy things you don't need. Like if you're an older person, you don't need to buy maternity parts of your insurance, or, pediatrics and that kind of thing. Just take a step back. When you pay your taxes, your property taxes, do you go to school still? Aren't you paying for the schools in your neighborhood? You are. That's something that we just got to do. I'm not going to school, but my daughter does. She's no longer going to high school, but you still have to pay your property taxes for the schools in your neighborhood. I know you've left elementary school for a long time and you're now older and retired, but how many things are you paying for in your property taxes that you don't get or you don't use? It's the same thing with health insurance. How many things do you have to pay for in a health policy that is indeed a better policy than the one you might have now? And I do remember, when you're on the open market buying insurance for yourself and you don't have it through your employer, every year you get this letter. And then you have to panic and call the person that you bought it from. Am I still covered? Oh yes, but you got to pay $10 more or $20 more, or whatever the case is. And because you're not sick at the time, and you're hoping that God keeps you healthy so you don't have to go to the hospital because you're not totally covered with that, that's where it is. So why don't we try to get behind the good things of the Affordable Care Act and stop beating it down. Media, you need to stop. Let's take another break. This is the Diana Wright Show Live, and we thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll be back in just a slither of a moment. Yes, we'll be back. Hello to all my viewers. How are you? This is Diana Wright introducing you to my new book, Deadly Negligence, A True Story. It chronicles an astounding account of the magic of a mother's love, the power of divine miracles, and of course, Deadly Negligence will give you hope and inspiration, helping you get through anything that life throws your way. Get your copy today on Amazon.com. Thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful, blessed day. Alrighty, yes, we are back, and we thank you so much for joining us today. It's almost time for us to get out of here, so we want to just run down a few more things that we have to talk about today. I see that lots and lots. Did you see that cold meeting between de Blasio and Mayor Bloomberg yesterday? Oh my God, the internet is blowing up with that particular picture. Mayor Bloomberg looked like why am I here? I don't need to be talking to you. I'm for the rich and you're for the poor. That's how people are interpreting it. I'm sorry, not my words. Okay, all right, so I'm going to just put down a little positive spin on the Affordable Care Act right now as I have it in front of me. I picked it up online. It was reported by Julie Steenhausen and edited by Leslie Gevertz. Oh my goodness, people with these complicated names. Anyway, as many as 17 million low to moderate income Americans should be eligible for tax credits to buy private health insurance under President Barack Obama's health care law in 2014. And this according to the report by the Kaiser Family Foundation. The 3 states with the highest number of individuals who will qualify for the subsidies are Texas, where the president was yesterday, where as many as 2 million people qualify, California, where I hope the president is going next, where some 1.9 million people qualify. And guess where? Rick Scott is trying to block it, but Florida, where 1.6 million people qualify. The Kaiser report said it is based on an analysis of 2012 and 2013 population and economic data from U.S. Census Bureau. So now that we know that Rick Scott is going to be challenged by ex-governor Charlie Crist, many Democrats are really going to vote for Charlie Crist for governor again of Florida? Think of his moderate stance. Now he's no longer a Republican, no longer an independent. He's been convinced to become a Democrat, and I'm sure President Obama had something to do with that. So, I am sure that if Charlie Crist become our new governor in 2014, he will take and do the Medicaid expansion. I know he would have taken that money to give us the trains that we so badly need, the bullet trains. I know that he will give Florida the exchanges that is needed for the people here in Florida that have no insurance. So what are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote for ideology, or are you going to vote for your bread and your butter? What are you going to vote for in 2014 in Florida? The states with the fewest number of residents to qualify are Vermont with only 27,000 individuals and the District of Columbia with 9,000. Overall, the report estimates about 29 million people are potential customers for the exchange. So if you have a business that you're starting and you have a potential clientele of 29 million people, wouldn't you say that's a good shot that you're going to succeed? Including people who currently have no insurance and those who buy private insurance like the one I talked about earlier, and the one that the Republicans are harping on every single day. I wish they would just shut up, and unless you have a solution to a problem, you should not speak. That's just my motto. So if you can't do what I do and do it better than I do, shut up. So the number excludes people who would be eligible for the Medicaid program for the poor. So forget about Medicaid. 29 million people are your potential clients. Wouldn't you go for that if you're a business person? I would think you would be pretty successful with 29 million people. So the tax credits are only available for people who apply for coverage through the state-based health insurance marketplace. So you think Charlie Crist is going to make us one of them marketplaces? I think so. To qualify, individuals must have incomes of between 100% and 400% of the federal poverty level, which translates to a range of $23,550 to $94,200 for a family of 4. That's a pretty good spread, don't you think? $23,550 to $94,200? Those who qualify will be people who are not eligible for coverage from their employer or from Medicaid or Medicare. Obviously, if you have Medicare, there's no need for you to tap into the Affordable Care Act. And if you have Medicaid, you still don't need to tap into it because you are poor enough to get Medicaid. All right? So, government insurance programs, that's also part of it, and the poor and elderly. Use of the tax credits may vary by state depending on how well the health insurance websites perform. All right. 14 states are running their own online exchanges, which I think should be the case, and that's what the president wanted. But of course, 36 of them are run by Republicans, and politically they just said, no, we are not going to help you to succeed because you are a black man who is president. And most have been operating more smoothly than healthcare.gov, obviously. The full report can be found online, so you need to check it out because it is good information. All right. Oh my goodness, time to go, time to go, time to go. So we got to encourage President Barack Obama to keep campaigning for Affordable Care Act, which they call Obamacare, because you have a potential for 29 million customers. And I think any business person Even though they're saying, oh, he's not a good leader, and oh, he's never run a business, and oh, he's never been a governor, and oh, oh yes, but he's president and you're not. How about that? So we thank you so much for joining us today inside the Diana Wright Show. We have had a ball, and we are so thankful to Dr. Karen Carpenter, who is a sexologist and an intimacy guru from Jamaica. She is board certified in the U.S., but chose to be practicing in Jamaica, where she can do lots of good. So we are so gonna be on the anxious chair waiting for her to tell us when we can get her back and when Flo and Digicel will operate perfectly. Come on now, Flo. I'm rooting for Flo and Digicel, all right? So, of course, you know that Flo is the equivalent to Comcast cable here, and Digicel, of course, is the equivalent to AT&T in Jamaica. So we hope that they will just allow my great guest, Karen Carpenter, Dr. Karen Carpenter, no doubt. She's clinical, yeah, and she had some good things to say. So we hope we can have her back soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Don't forget what Dr. Karen Carpenter said. You need intimacy for friendship relationships and romantic relationships. You don't need intimacy for sex. Keep that in mind as you go about your day today, and say the magic words, I love me. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. It's gonna be Friday!